Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special podcast tonight with two friends of the channel, Tony Rango and Adrian D'Amico. And they have a Kickstarter that is helping to fight censorship. Also, helping content creators online streamline their uploading process. And they're going to lay it all out in the line tonight. And we're going to talk about what it is that Fractal Frog, the video content optimizer, can actually do for you. They're already halfway there on Kickstarter. $4,639 pledged. And just to go over the two creators, I don't know if they're the only two creators, it's a group, but Adrian D'Amico is the creator of Suspect Sky YouTube channel. He is also the author of The Type 5, a book written about, well, potentially extraterrestrials. Can you believe that? And our buddy Tony Rango has been doing Guns and Butter, which I think has been a radio podcast or some type of audio podcast for several years, or if not a frickin' decade. And everyone knows about Guns and Butters. So we'll leave you links to Guns and Butter, the SoundCloud, and Suspect Sky YouTube. And thank you guys for coming on the show. How the hell are you?
Hey, Diamond, doing great, and thank you so much for having us. It seems like a lifetime since we were at LeakCon with you. It certainly is a different world, so thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Tony?
Yeah, Diamond, thank you. Likewise, and yeah, it's been, I think, LeakCon as well when I was passing through Denver and popped in to say hi at your conference. So it's good to hear you again.
Cool, and I appreciate you guys coming on the podcast to explain to our listeners what exactly Fractal Frog is. How did you develop it? Now, you and I, Adrian, had talked about this almost back at LeakCon about what you were doing and working on, and here is the actual implementation. The very first phase of a video content optimizer that can actually save content creators like myself and others hundreds of hours worth of work. Not only that, it's going to back it all up in the cloud, either in one of my drives. So before we get started, should I just play your video for the folks?
No. So let me talk a little bit about it because, Diamond, creators like you and I and Tony, we are being shadow banned, throttled, banned, outright. Censorship in the free world has reached a level that I never thought was possible. And Fractal Frog is a technological solution that will prevent that. So we like to use the analogy of the many hydras, right? The many heads of a hydra. So if a video is taken down on YouTube, it is also replicated on Vimeo or Rumble or BitChute. And that's kind of our goal with this whole thing, because we've seen a ton of censorship to a level that I've never thought possible before. We often refer to this on our channel as the Great Purge of, like-minded folks, or, it often is a little bit even more nebulous, where they'll attach a warning, right, to your video, like this doesn't meet the mainstream narrative, explanation of global warming or whatever it might be. Or we're going to throttle your viewership by diminishing your Google search results. Yeah. And so this is kind of our technological solution to it. And we have high hopes that this will become, a freer internet.
Well, let me just chime in here and tell you about some of the nonsense going on with our channel. And we just got done talking about the fact that this video is going to have to be uploaded on Magnetic Reversal News tonight, because we still have to wait 5 days for a community guideline strike that we got. Now, we got that guideline strike, which doesn't allow us to comment, post, or upload for 7 days. And if you get 3 within 3 months, they shut your channel down. Now, it was based on an interview I did as a journalist in my own hometown, where I was interviewing a group of constitutionalists that had gotten together and they were fighting back against illegal mandates that are happening because of this supposed pandemic that we're experiencing. So because of that, they shut me down. And all I was doing was interviewing people in my community and a group. It was literally doing the news, but that is not allowed anymore.
No, it's not, and it's frankly quite scary because, like yourself, the majority of videos that were banned on my channel had to do with COVID 1984, as I call it. But you're right. If you disagree with what the experts say, and the experts are, in my opinion, elitist, corptocracy-controlled, agents, then you're banned, and your freedom of speech no longer applies. So we're really, trying to build a system to combat that that goes beyond, sort of like hoping for regulations, hoping for legal architectures to change. We're trying to provide a technological solution to that situation, and we'll see where it goes. And thankfully for people like you, we're getting the word out. So appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Tony, do you have anything?
And would you like to
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to hear a little bit about what it currently does and where we're at and where we're going and why the Kickstarter and, sort of, frame it a little bit for you? Would that be helpful?
Yeah, that would be helpful. And before you start, I want to say, guys, that I've looked at a lot of Kickstarters and I've been involved in a lot of them. And this was real. When I looked at it, it was really easy to understand at where you're at and where you're going and what you get. So, but because I'm not the creator, I won't explain it. Tony, please go over in like a general synopsis of what Fractal Frog is and how that can benefit the community.
Yeah, so we were able to raise some funds to actually develop an application and finalize it to where you can now sync between your home data, your videos, as well as with YouTube and Vimeo as the two video platforms. And then there's two ways to back up. You can back up to Dropbox, or you can back up to our Fractal Frog backup, which is a service we have available that is a cloud-based backup service. So those are the two platforms we have now. So for the Kickstarter launch, when you get when you buy one of the rewards, whether it be a month subscription at $10 or something a little bit more, you'll actually get a working application to work with those two. And our plan is then to begin raising funds to launch for phase 2, which we then want to add additional platforms such as, BitChute or Rumble or some of the other ones to really then be able to then sync content across those multiple platforms, as well as add live features like live streaming or MP3s or other type of files that aren't just video files. So that's sort of down the road where we want to head. But right now we actually have a working product for our Kickstarter launch. The campaign is to help us get marketing, launch finalize the business and get it going once we launch next month.
Awesome. Now, will the people that jump into the Kickstarter now, will they be, because they are the ones that will be funding the actual final product, will they have access to the rollout of when you expand the venue to add Rumble, Library, and all the other alternative media sources like BitChute, DTube, etc.? Will that be, if you've gotten in now, will you get that for free in the future, in other words?
Yeah, we haven't worked out any pricing models, and our hope is to actually add another platform in the next month or so. So when we do roll out the final product, we might even have another one going. So that's our hope to do. Depending on the success of the campaign, if we reach our funding goal, we'll be able to do that. But yeah, certainly we could certainly grandfather people in who supported the campaign for those kind of features. I'm sure we'll move to, maybe a different pricing model, but a lot of it's based on data. So, the more data you use, the more, it's a data for service. So with just a monthly subscription fee. So it's really based on how much data you're going to be using and, how many videos and size and content or quantity and quality, of course, is going to drive those sizes. But
so not only is this a way to save time in uploading to multiple platforms, but it automatically backs up your content to the cloud, either in Dropbox or also over at your cloud service. And so you don't have to do any of that. So if you're working and you're busy and you do 10 videos in a week and you don't back anything up and then YouTube slams you or something, all that's protected and you're golden. You don't have to then re-upload. It doesn't take a lot of time. Now, if I could suggest something, I don't know if you guys have a stretch goal in here, but if you put a stretch out to 15 grand or something, and allow that to include the grandfathering in, I think you might actually get a little bit more money, because people really want the extra, layers of upload ability, because it's going to shave time off of what they're doing. Like if you get Rumble up there as another platform, or Library or BitChute, that would really drive more people to your Kickstarter, I think. What are your thoughts?
That's a great idea. I'm not very familiar with Kickstarter as you are, so we're definitely going to look into that. And thank you for that suggestion and feedback, because that's certainly something we can do as far as pricing out. We have the application fully built where again, you log in, you can put in a credit card. What'll happen is the Kickstarter folks will be the first ones to get use of it, because they're going to get the coupon code sent to them before we announce to the public per se that we're live taking live customers. So they'll be the first ones to actually get to use it as well. So one of the benefits of the Kickstarter. But that's a great idea, Diamond. We'll definitely pursue that.
Cool. I appreciate that. And you can add those stretch goals in the middle of a campaign. So because a friend of mine at the Matt Powers was writing a permaculture book, and he was so successful that he was allowed to add stretch goals. And in the end, all the people that bought the initial book got hardcover textbooks, and it was really a fantastic end to an awesome campaign. Adrian, do you have anything to add to Fractal Frog that you could potentially tell people that might be on the fence to get involved with the Kickstarter on how it actually fights censorship?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So this application operates like a hydra. So as you create content, and Diamond, I'm even referring to you, I'm referring to me, as Suspect Sky, as we add content, it is replicated across many different platforms automatically. So the risk of a deplatforming situation happening becomes minimized. And that to me is very exciting, because, we've often relied upon like regulation or laws to change. But no, this is actually a technological solution. So just as an example, Diamond, if you were to log in, you can pick the platforms that you would like to synchronize your, robust content history with, and everything will be pulled in and synchronized with a new platform. And I really do think that this is a way to fight against censorship, which is a really big problem. I mean, when we see whether you like Trump or dislike Trump, he was banned off of social media, which was something I never thought I would have seen.
No.
Or the Great Purge that occurred the week of January 6th, which was anyone that disagreed with what happened, in terms of the rioting or whatever, were banned. And that's a precarious place to be as a civilization. And we would like to maybe provide a way to prevent that or protect against that type of censorship.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And let me just bring in a personal anecdote on some of my experience during the election. I have been organizing through social media since its inception. And so I have a really big footprint on Facebook and other social media sites, especially Facebook. And I really want to talk about Facebook because I've been organizing on there for over a decade. I have dozens of groups that I've created and probably hundreds of thousands of people in each of these groups. So if you had the metadata, you could find out that I was quite the influencer on Facebook. And what they did was they banned me for over 30 days, 20 days before the election and 10 after, where I couldn't do anything based on one of their community guidelines that was so vague that it was impossible to figure out what I had done. But there were hundreds like me that are organizers that get blocked at the same time. And that was on purpose, just like you said. And it was to affect an election, which, by the way, is illegal. So the world we're living in is, I mean, beyond bizarre at this point. And Leah and I, over dinner, my partner, were talking like it's getting very scary that we didn't think it would accelerate this quickly and we would be seeing these kinds of things happening this fast before our lives. And it's becoming alarming, to say the least.
Oh yeah. And the acceleration point, it's been alarming, as you put it. It's HR1, it's gun control, it's all that stuff. But what really bothers me about it, from an anti-censorship perspective, is that do you remember like the last couple months, like if you Googled or searched for a video on election fraud, like there was like that little disclaimer underneath it that said Joe Biden is the president, you must obey, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was creepy. And we should be a society and a civilization of free speech and free discourse, but apparently no, right? And we're hoping Fractal Frog can combat, some of those issues. I hope so.
Yeah, well, when that moniker came up underneath of all the videos or whatever you're talking about, that he was the president, he wasn't. It never had gone to the Electoral College and it wasn't certified. So it was absolutely a lie. And that's the world we're living in, is absolutely a lie. And we're trying to develop, and I said this 10 years ago when I started organizing to all the groups, especially with the March Against Monsanto, we are going to use the system to beat the system. That's the only way you can do it. So you have to be able, and that's why I keep making videos. No matter how hard they push back, no matter how hard we get censored, we change the way we do things and we move forward, because we are going to use this system to beat the system. And in fact, the last 3 months, my channel has never grown this fast. Even in the 4 years ago when we were growing at exponential speed, we've been gaining 3,000 or more subscribers per month. And we're being banned in the process, so they're not doing very well.
Yeah, I would agree. And, Diamond, like some of your opinions related to like anti-pollution, anti-toxins and things, I find it kind of laughable when I argue with people who say, do you agree with global warming? And I say no. And then they say, I hate, or I'm pro pollution or whatever. And I tell them, no, I'm actually like quite against that. And hopefully us as a community and perhaps the overall, human race, we'll be able to realize that there is like a middle ground,
Yeah.
Like you can deny the global warming thing, but also be, anti-pollution, and what you can't if those viewpoints are censored, which is what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is to shape the minds of the already brainwashed to be ever more brainwashed. This is what my partner and I are very worried about, because we now have a large portion of the population that are, succumbing. They're allowing, and more brainwashing and the more censorship, the messaging that they're going to get is going to ever drag them into a hole of control. Tony, do you have anything to say about the control mechanism that is now gripping us like a chokehold?
Yeah, it's certainly there, and you see it everywhere, in all aspects of your life. I work for a large nonprofit, and you see it all up and down, from the what you can say and when you can say it and what's not allowed. It seems like an all-out assault. Like all the chips are in this one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Now, guys, this has been a great video. We're 20 minutes in. I think they got the gist of it. I want to let you each do your plea. Give me a final plea on why people right now, tonight, that are listening should buck up $10 or whatever. And before we get there, let me just tell you, Adrian and I had talked earlier, and for a channel as gigantic as mine, I mean, we have thousands of videos up there. We would literally barely have to pay maybe $100 or $200. I mean, we're talking 250 gigabytes, or for 500, 2 terabytes. For $500, my entire video catalog could be replicated without me pushing a button using this application. And that saves me hours, and those hours equal up to the money that I would pay for this. And then I have it working flawlessly in the background. Now, at the same time, this is not an application for your cell phone, like an app you buy at the store. This is software for your computer. So if you're actually working only online on your computer at home and you have a channel, this is what you need. It's software. It's not really an app. And I think that's a little misleading. So, okay, final push. Adrian, you're first. Why should people jump into this Kickstarter and be famous with the rest of us?
Well, thank you, Diamond. I would say that if you support content creators like yourself, Diamond, or Suspect Sky, or whoever, if you support them, this software application, will allow them to have essentially a Hydra approach, where their content can be replicated numerous times across numerous channels, and essentially reduce the censorship that might be applied to them. You don't have to be a content creator yourself. You could just support what your content creators do. So I think that would be, my 5-second spiel on the whole thing. But it's really exciting because everyone's been trying to fight big tech, and they've been trying to fight big tech on legal or regulatory parameters. I don't think that's going to work. I think you have to have technological solutions such as Fractal Frog, which will synchronize your content between the different platforms in an effort to really combat them. So that would be my opinion. Tony, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing for some content creators, and I've heard of some that, YouTube, nuked their channel and they've lost years worth of videos because they didn't have a good backup solution. It might have been on different computers or different places they've been uploading from. And so this solution allows you to quickly and easily back up all of your content from YouTube to either a Dropbox or our backup solution. So I think for some of those, that's the really going to be the critical feature.
Yeah.
And then for others, being able to upload to multiple platforms at the same time. So you can upload to your YouTube, your Vimeo, and the other channels available when we have them, and then upload it to a backup function. So backup is basically the function of uploading to your content. So you're uploading it to that backup server. So it makes it super easy to kind of really protect your content in that way and not lose any of it. And certainly, can be valuable for the purges continue.
Perfect. And this is baby steps. I mean, you've got you got the infrastructure now, guys, and you've promised us that you're going to add more platforms. And it literally comes down to this: 500 people watching this video all just have to get involved at $10, and boom, we're at the next level, because it's that simple. And go ahead.
And just to go on, that $10 gets you in the door. It gives you a month subscription and gets you enough data to at least, use the application and get a feel for it. So it's a pretty low entry price to get something out of it. And just the other point you made, it is really best used for desktop because that's where you're generally managing all of your, having all your video content. It is phone friendly, but it's not something you're going to want to be really uploading content from your phone to that platform right now. But definitely down the road, we'll have a phone app or a mobile app coming.
Right, and really for the moderate, large creators. And what I mean by a moderate, large creator is somebody like Ben Davidson or Leak Project that have a 500,000 subscribers. They might have 4,000 or 5,000 videos in their library, and they're making bank. I mean, they're making huge money just on Google Rev. For a small fraction of a price, they could literally back up every single video to the cloud. And if they don't have a Vimeo right now, think about that, because I've been thinking about this. Like, I might as well get a Vimeo and back it all up there, because then I can be showing videos on my separate website or something else. This actually gives opportunities to content creators that never thought about expanding their viewership.
Yeah, and once we're able to add something like BitChute and Rumble, that allows for those who've been actually axed off YouTube to then actually, utilize the product in the same way as, the features are now for YouTube and Vimeo.
Yeah, and it'll save them so much time. It maybe will motivate them to get back on to making podcasts. Because if everything just got trashed and now you're starting fresh and everything's getting backed up and loaded to all your platforms, you could be making 3-4 videos a day, in my opinion. Adrian?
Yeah. So what differentiates us from our competition is the idea that we can pull all your previous content and place it on different platforms. So if you wanted to, in lack of a better word, back up your presence on Vimeo or Rumble or something like that, that's what we've built, and it's really exciting.
Wait a minute. So if you guys, after we reach the goal and you get a stretch goal, and then maybe the next Kickstarter happens, but after I'm already into Fractal Frog, let's say I'm already using it, everything's backed up on Vimeo and going up there in the cloud. If you added Rumble, the next day I could click a button and my entire video library would be uploaded to Rumble?
That's correct.
Yes.
Holy macaroni. That's amazing. I'll give $10 for that. Hell. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I want to give you some parting words. And then remember, this is going to go up tonight on Magnetic Reversal News. We'll do it later in the week when we're unbanned from the main channel, Oppenheimer Ranch Project. And we're definitely going to hit the goal of 9639. It's a cinch. You guys should be working on the stretch goal, maybe to grandfather in all the initial supporters to get all of like some future perks or something like that. So, Tony, first. Pleasure to have you on the show. Guys, check out Tony Rango's podcast, Guns and Butter. I'll leave you links to the SoundCloud. Adrian's at Suspect Sky on YouTube. Also the author of The Type 5, an awesome book, by the way. I have 2 signed copies. Thank you, Adrian. Can you just, some parting words, Tony?
Yeah, I would just say gunsandbutter.org is the website to go to for the show I co-produce. And then, of course, check our show out on Suspect Sky that we do each week. And we're basically been posting on Rumble. So good place to go. And our page is fractalfrog.com/Kickstarter, where you can watch our short video as well as share on Twitter and Facebook and other places, as well as link to our Kickstarter page to check us out. So we appreciate it. Thanks so much, Diamond.
Thank you. Adrian?
Just want to second thanking you, Diamond, for having us on your show. And I would just say that censorship is a really big deal. It's a really big deal. And folks who feel that, all of a sudden, their channels are demonetized, they're deplatformed. They're not only deplatforming channels, they're deplatforming platforms, right? It's a bad situation to be in, and we hope to bring some relief to folks that are involved in the content creator business. So Diamond, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, I thank you guys for coming on. We're fighting the man, and this is the beauty of it all. It's the actual content creators themselves that are developing new technologies to help other content creators to fight the censorship that is kicking us in the groin. Once again, Tony Rango, thanks for coming on the show. Guns and Butter, gunsandbutter.org, and we'll give you links to all of that. Suspect Sky, Adrian D'Amico, author of the Type 5. Pleasure to have you on, guys. Check out the Kickstarter, Fractal Frog. Dump $1, dump a dime. Make it fine and make it work. We can do this together. And guys, that's a boom. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Diamond. That's a boom.
Thanks. Take care.
Peace.